One of the things I like about speed dating, like at least once, is because it gives you a chance to talk to a very large number of women very rapidly. Well, first of all, that's a good way of, it's exposure, right? It's a good way of overcoming that fear of initial contact. But I think it also introduces you in a very blunt way to the diversity of personality, right? Because what you'll find if you go on a speed dating is that there'll be nothing between you and the girl in many cases. There'll be something there sometimes. Sometimes that's okay. You know, you don't have to be attractive to or attracted to everyone. Forcing exposure to that wide variety of experience in a short period of time can be a good way of overcoming your fear. And a lot of that's just an experience, that fear too, right? So you got to figure out how to overcome that. And then I would say with apps like Tinder, it's trickier because the degree to which sexual activity is implied in the initial meeting, you know, in the initial agreement to hook up is unclear. But it might be worthwhile just to make a rule for yourself, which is that, you know, you'll go on 25 Tinder dates, but you won't engage in any physical contact, because it'll solve that problem for you. You know what I mean? And then you can concentrate on the conversation, and you can concentrate on overcoming this inexperience that you have that's interfering with your progress forward. But a rule like that just makes it simple. I mean, what I would say is that women generally like men who have power but don't need to use it. It's something like that. And women who are uncertain and unsettled in their relationships with men would rather, for their own safety, that all men be rendered powerless. But that's not helpful because it destroys erotic attraction, and then all that happens is that men end up useless. So it's not a solution. You want someone powerful but civilized, not someone so weak they can't do anything wrong. And I think the message that young men get a lot in our society is, you should be so weak that you can't do anything wrong. And that's a really bad message. It doesn't do anyone any good. You know, there's all this surface talk about toxic masculinity and the overbearing rape culture that's characteristic of men. You know, it's so interesting to me to watch what's happening on the campuses, because and that's emblematic of what happens in the broader world. I mean, at the same time, we have discussions about how absolutely every form of sexual desire and behavior whatsoever is entirely permissible. We have the increasing multiplication of regulations about every single aspect of any sexual interaction between a man and a woman. The fact that those two things are happening at the same time means that something is wrong. I mean, maybe we should back off on the idea that absolutely every form of sexual interaction whatsoever is permissible and desirable, and simultaneously back off on the increasing enclosure of every physical interaction in a web of laws and regulations, most of which are going to be counterproductive and cause all sorts of trouble.